You are tuned into Bonds, right? The family life show here on AGTV, where we talk about faith, relationships, and building strong families. Now, in today's episode, before I say I do, the church's role. Remember, last week we talked about before I say I do, the parent's role or the parent's factor. Today we're moving on to the church's role. We want to explore what responsibility the body of Christ has in preparing couples for marriage, how the church can become more than just a wedding venue, right? From mentorship to counseling to accountability, the church can either shape godly unions or silently watch them struggle. My name is Mauto Sade. Kindly follow us on all of our social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, at MyAGTV. Comment, like, and share. We would love to hear from you. You can equally sponsor this show by calling or messaging the number on your screen. We start off today's discussion with our scripture as usual. Today's scripture is from Titus chapter 2, verse 6 to 7, and it says, "Similarly, encourage the young men to be self-controlled. In everything, set them an example by doing what is good. In your teaching, show integrity." You don't want to miss this show. We'll be back shortly.
Hey there! You're watching Bonds, the family life show. Woo!
A family that sticks together will always be stronger through the stormy weather. I have you and you have me, and that's what makes us family. It's the family life show. It's the family life show. It's the family life show. It's the family life show.
You're watching Bonds, the family life show.
Welcome back from that short break. If you've just joined us, you've tuned in to Bonds, the family life show here on AGTV, where we look at everything you and your family through the lens of the Bible. Today we are talking about before I say I do. I usually would like to say before you say you do. We're looking at the role of the church, and who better to have this conversation with than the two honorable reverends that I love having a chat with. It's always a pleasure and a blessing to be in the house with them. Before I introduce them, however, I want to encourage you to join Club 1000 Plus today. AGTV Club 1000 Plus is a fundraising initiative by the Assemblies of God Ghana Television to secure monthly donations from 1,000 plus individuals, churches, and organizations. And you can contribute 100 cedis monthly or any amount God lays on your heart if you wish to be a donor. And do so via the AGTV mobile money number 0556789324. You can also contact us with the information on your screen. Do support, because your support keeps the gospel shining in every home. And that is every Christian's desire, to keep the gospel shining in every home. Now, I said earlier that I have two gentlemen here to help me have the conversation today. They're in the persons of Reverend Reginald Akwamwa. By now, you're familiar with these two faces. Reverend Reginald Akwamwa is a minister, relationship counselor, and the founder of the Marriage Factory, a factory we are yet to visit. Now, I think that maybe by the end of today, you should tell us how we can visit the factory if we wish to, to learn a few things. We get just bits and pieces of it on the show, but would really, really love to be able to connect with you further. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And I have with me Reverend Ronald Dakumreku, pastor, Word Temple Assemblies of God, Dansoman District Secretary, Assemblies of God Ghana, and a chartered member of Ghana Institute of Surveyors, married to one woman. Today I just had to add that.
Yeah,
I just laughed that part
sure.
of it. Thank you too for being here.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being here. Now today I will just hand it over to you because this is your domain. We're talking about the church, and we want to find out the role of the church in preparing someone who intends to get married. What does the church have to do? What can they do? What should they do? Those are the things we want to be looking at. So first and foremost, we know that marriage is between two individuals, between two families. If we're looking at it from the traditional setup, should the church have a say at all in all of this? Once the family and the individuals are involved, must the church be involved?
Well, it is said that the family, the traditional, the extended family and the nuclear family possibly are the custodians of the marriage. And therefore they form stakeholders to the marriage. I think that in addition, the church is also a family to those who are going to get married.
Right.
The church is preparing souls for heaven. Who they marry, how they marry, sometimes would have an effect on whether they make heaven or not.
Or not.
Because sometimes through marriage, people can miss heaven.
Wow.
People can go through certain things in marriage and they'll miss heaven. People can treat their wives in a particular way.
And miss heaven.
Miss heaven. You know, when you read the scriptures in 1 Peter chapter 3, I think 7 or 8, it says that live with your wife in consideration so that your prayers will not be hindered. So even the way you treat your wife affects how God receives
your prayers.
Your prayers.
Which is why I'm never jealous of men. I'm never envious of men at all.
So if all those things, marriage can affect your journey to heaven, then the church must have
definitely
an influence, a positive influence in your marriage or how you marry. Or how you engage in marriage.
I get it. Now, so if the church must have a say, Rev, I'm assuming you agree with that. If the church must have a say, let's talk about what kind of say should it be. Would we say that they can choose a partner for someone, or if they said no, for example, to somebody's choice of a partner, should that person hold it to heart and say, once my church says no, it's a no?
We cannot take away the church family from our relationships as human beings, and especially as Christians. You understand? That is why when you look at Ephesians chapter 5, from verse 15 to 21, it says we should deal with each other as Christians. So even in 21, when he says submitting one another, he was not saying submitting one another as husband and wife. He was saying submitting one another as Christians. No, so he's a family. You understand? So the church family, there are some people that were rejected because they took up Christianity. And the only family they know is the church. No, and with that, the church must have, let me put it this way, some say in who you marry. But as to whether the church has the power to say no, but it should be no with wisdom. Say that no, he's from that church, so no, that one doesn't make sense. Even if as a pastor you have had a revelation and you realize that this thing will not help them,
wisdom is the key.
Wisdom is the key. Even that you can't say no. But you must give them a reason to
reconsider.
To consider. Okay, this is what I saw, and this is what I foresee that the end result will be. Now I'm talking to you as my daughter or as my son, because tomorrow when there is an issue,
it will be us.
It will be us. So what I want you to do, go and pray and come back to me and let me know what you... You understand? No. So when, at that point, the pastor has come in as a father figure. And that's the relationship that the church needs to... Obviously there are issues where maybe the pastor wanted the lady to marry a particular person in the church.
That's
and then
also
she
possible.
Diverted into some place. And because of that, the pastor has seen a different vision.
That one is a personal vision.
And all those things. Those ones are there. Even that one, it is based on a relationship. It's based on that family thing. The same way your family can tell you that since the person is from Oti region, so we won't agree. So we cannot remove the church
from the say
from the say
of who we marry. Reverend Reku.
Yeah, so as we were saying, the church is a stakeholder, right? And there are sometimes I think that the church can say that, okay, you can go ahead and marry, but for this, kindly excuse us. There's this interesting story of a pastor who was there and a married woman, a wife approached him and says that, this young lady is snatching my husband away from me.
Oh.
Kindly, pastor, talk to the man and the lady for me.
For me.
So pastor calls the young lady and we're like, this woman came and said that you are chasing the husband. He said, oh no, there's nothing like that. He's not chasing, we are not in a relationship, nothing like that. Pastor asks the man, oh no, everybody's denying. Tells the woman, the wife, they are denying, there's no evidence of what you are saying. The woman says, fine. Along the line, man and wife divorce comes. The pastor is sitting there.
Then
and this man holds
brings that very lady,
that young lady, as his fiancé, and he wants to marry, and then the pastor should bless.
Oh.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on, with an instance like this, the pastor is going to say no.
No.
Yes.
No and no.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there are instances where the church or the leader of the church can say, looking at this, I think that I would want to distance myself
from this.
There was one other encounter. The guy had a 7-month-old baby with another woman, and he was marrying another girl.
Wow.
7 months.
And the one with the 7-month-old baby was threatening to make noise at the wedding. Right. So with that, the thing looks tricky.
Yeah.
You get
Kind of
me?
fishy.
When you look at it legally, he's not married to you. He just has
So
a
there's
child to you.
nothing, you don't really have a right to say
So-
no.
But sometimes you just look at the circumstance, and some churches will want to distance themselves from situations like that. But aside that, even with that, I think that the church should guide the people. Tell, as Reverend said, you let them know the consequences of what they are going through.
Okay.
Even people with 2 SS, even if they decide to marry,
You can
that-
only guide and
you
counsel.
can only guide
Guide
and
and
say, okay, these are the implications of your marriage. There's a likelihood you could have children with these
sickle
challenges.
cell anemia
But
and all.
if you decide that your love goes beyond
And your
those
faith.
challenges,
Your love and your faith. I've heard testimonies like that before.
Yeah.
Where couples claim
Yeah.
that it was just faith and they were able to have children with AA.
Yeah.
Well, what do I say to that?
And those
You
ones
say
are-
hallelujah.
you know, and
Those ones are
amen.
rare.
Yeah, they're quite
There are
rare.
other people too who use faith.
And it doesn't
and
work.
It didn't work.
Work, yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't work.
So the choice
It's yours.
is yours, but we will guide you and let you know the consequences of.
Assuming you've made that option available to the person that, well, we wouldn't want to be a part of this because of A, B, C, D, or the person doesn't personally bring it to the church to be a part of it, are there any consequences of the church not being involved in a person's marriage when it comes to marriage? Reverend Akwama.
If the person makes a decision,
Personal decision.
personal decision that we will not want to bring it to the church, as a pastor, even if you have heard it, you have not heard it.
Okay.
That is how I will run it. I've not heard it. But you see, as a father figure in that relationship, there's
You may
nothing
want
wrong.
to.
Also calling them, especially the one that is a member of your church. Let's say if only one person. This is
Okay.
what I've heard. Oh, what is happening? This. And maybe they want to tell you the truth that, oh, she's pregnant and then we want to go and do it somewhere. You know,
Okay.
that kind of thing. But there's always a place of showing the father figure. Or if it's the woman that is heading the church, the woman figure and all those kind of things. And sometimes, you see, as the church, sometimes what we do wrong is that we are so much in a hurry of sending it to the board. You know, then at that level, it has become a bushiansam. You know, because there's an issue where it must come to like father
Yeah,
and
father,
daughter.
daughter,
No,
mother and
but
child.
when it gets to a place that you realize, no,
All the
this thing-
family elders are involved.
The family elders must hear this matter.
The aunties and the
I
uncles.
thought, yeah,
They must hear this matter.
Yeah.
Then you take it there. You
Wow,
understand?
wow.
So at that place where they take a decision that this is what we want. And then some churches will take a stand not to be part of it because you have taken a decision, because they also have a policy.
Okay,
No, that as a church, this is how we run things.
right.
Even if there is pregnancy, this is also how we do it.
Okay.
The same way that a particular family, when you go there and let's say the girl is pregnant, don't
There
allow
are
you.
certain
Yes,
things
they will
that
allow
must be
you.
done.
They'll say that let this girl give birth. You know,
Okay.
and then after the child naming or the day they do the child name, if both of you want to still marry, then you can do the engagement and then do the child naming. You know, that kind of thing. So
I think that is precisely to safeguard people from marrying just because of pregnancy.
Yes, it's also very important. Because if somebody comes and says, why do you want to say, because we have a child? No, that's a major red flag to me.
Okay.
You know, because everything about that marriage is the child.
So once the child moves out of home, then the marriage is over.
You know, that kind of thing. So that aspect is something that we need to look at as a church very well. Because it is a personal decision. You know, see, marriage is first a family thing.
Right.
In as much as marriage ceremony is not a church program.
Okay.
It's a family program.
Okay.
You know, that they allow the church family to also be part of it.
Right.
That is why on the wedding day they ask who gives these brides hand in marriage.
Because we recognize the important role of the family.
Of the family. You know, so we want to be sure. Even if the pastor himself went there to go and do the engagement, people's mind change. Maybe before the wedding, the father went back and said, people collect your drink, I don't like it. And then they used Takashi to come to the wedding day and then went to. So we'll ask and make sure, you know, and said, okay, if you are the father, then say, I, Mr. So and so, give my daughter, blah, blah, and all those kind of things. So all these things are very important that we need to look at it very well.
You've hinted at some situations that may make the church say, we don't want to be a part of it. Let's be a little more specific, right? Just so that people are more aware that if I do A, B, C, D, there's the likelihood that my favorite pastor may not want to associate with my marriage ceremony when I'm moving on from courtship into marriage. Let's start from Reverend Mreku. Reverend, what are some of those specifics that may make a church or a pastor say, we won't be involved in this?
Well, okay, it depends on the kind of the relationships existing, the kind of policies the church has or have. Every church and the kind of policy they have. Okay. Right. There are some churches who accept polygamy. There are some churches it's a no-no.
Yeah.
So if it's a church who do not accept polygamy, then when you come and say, Pastor, I'm going to marry
my second wife.
My second wife, of course, the pastor will not want to be part of it. Or if you're a young lady, you're going to marry and you are going to marry somebody who is also somebody's husband, the church may not stand. You know, there are some churches who have taken a stand against long-distance marriages.
Wow.
Yeah, distance marriages. They don't want to be part.
So it's become a church policy.
Church policy that if you're going to marry the woman is going to stay in Ghana. And you are going to live outside the country, let's say the US, the UK, Germany, and you're going to come every year.
Once a year.
Once a year to see your wife and the like. We will not want to be part of it.
Wow.
Show us proof that from this, after the marriage, you are taking your wife to be with you. There are some churches who have taken a decision on that because they have had a problem where they have so many wives or husbands in the church who are in distance marriages, and it's creating
a lot of issues. There are some who left and never came back.
Yes, maybe the man hits women and stuff like that, and a young lady want to get married. Some pastors may advise you or may counsel you that these are the consequences, but some will decide that for this,
go ahead.
For this, I want to distance myself from it because I know how it's going, and I don't want to be part of it. Right. So these are some of the instances or situations. Some churches may decide that they don't want to be part of it. But there's this controversial one. I've seen some churches do that. If your marriage is going to end in the traditional marriage, then we don't want to be part of it.
Wow.
So let me give an example.
It's my first. It's my first hearing that one.
It's your first hearing that?
Yes.
Oh wow. So if you decide to do the knocking and after that, you just want to end a traditional marriage.
We don't want to
or
be
what
a
we
part?
call what others
Customary
call
marriage.
engagement, customary marriage.
Right.
They don't want to be part of it because in their contemplation, it has a potential to be polygamous in nature, and they don't believe in polygamy, so they will not be part of it.
Wow.
Right. So
I get
some churches take that controversial stand with that, and they would want you to have an ordinance marriage by ordinance, which does not have the likelihood to be polygamous.
Right.
So it's
Right.
just one man,
Right.
one woman. But that argument, I do not really agree with.
Yeah.
Because, as Reverend said, marriage is between families. So if the families have agreed that they are together, what you have to do is just go and pray with them.
And bless them.
And bless them and wish them the best.
And hope that your teachings and your trainings are enough.
Will keep the marriage in
keep-
policy.
yeah.
Because, you see, the truth of the matter is that for someone to live with one woman, it is by the person accepting to do that, submitting to the instructions of Christ.
It's not the
and
type
living
of marriage
It is
that
not the
does
type
it.
of marriage. Because now you have men who have full-time mistresses, not part-time. He's married by ordinance, yet he's rented accommodation for another woman, maybe a 3-bedroom, and had 3 children.
Yeah.
Not one, one.
I
two,
like the way you said the bedroom for every
for
child.
every child.
And
Right.
still an elder in
And
church.
he maintains them,
Oh my God.
and he maintains them financially and takes care of them. And he also has his married by ordinance wife there, right? In effect, although he's married by ordinance, he's living a polygamous life.
Yeah,
And
you're
you
right.
have people who are married with a customary marriage, and they have kept their wives all these years
Yeah.
till this point.
Absolutely.
So it is the decision,
It's a personal decision.
decision.
It's not determined by the type of marriage.
I-
Rev, when we come back, I'll take your thoughts on this particular matter. You don't want to go anywhere. Call somebody to join the show. We'll be back shortly.
It's the Family Life Show. You're watching Bonds, the Family Life Show.
For every moment you need to be inspired.
You cannot be prayerfully alive, and Satan will get you easy.
Vision without action is an omission.
Raise your head high, for Reggie TV is here.
It's the Family Life Show. This is Bonds, the Family Life Show.
You're welcome back from that break. If you have just joined us, this is Bonds, the Family Life Show here on AGTV. My name is Mauto Sade. I'm here with Reverend Mreku and Reverend Akwamoah. We are talking about the role of the church before you say you do, or before we say we do. Now, before we went on the break, we were talking about situations that may necessitate the need for a church to say we won't be a part of this union. Reverend Akwamoah, do you have any more to add to what Reverend Mreku had mentioned?
Some typical examples could also emanate from maybe marrying a divorcee.
Okay.
Their church stands on that, you know. And if you belong to a church where they are strong on that, you know, they will obviously say
No.
that they don't want to be part of it. But normally what I would encourage is that even when you have said that you don't want, if you still, you have told them the truth, you have told them everything. I think the only thing that with this one, if you want to call it, I think you can just go to the court where maybe it is allowed, if that is what you want to do. Because you still need to find a way of getting these people back also into the church.
Sure.
Right.
You understand? So in as much as you have told them that, all because of precedence. Because somebody will stand somewhere and say, no, that man, because he has money and all this, so they did it for him. But meanwhile, it had nothing to do with the money the man had.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
And like I used to say, the church is like a spiritual refuge dump. Where people come to dump their
kinds
junk
of
and all
people.
this kind of thing. You know? So you must also be careful how you deal with the people.
Sure.
Sometimes it could even be on an individual basis.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
Recently, I officiated a marriage of a member of mine. In fact, she's a medical doctor, already had a child. The husband was outside, blah, blah, and all these kind of things. And the father was insisting that this wedding must happen in my church. And the lady does not attend that church. They did everything. So the time I got to know, it was 2 weeks to the time.
Oh.
So the lady came with the mother. I said, okay, no, this matter is not issue. But number one, I cannot announce in church. I said,
sure.
where are you going to do it? So we'll do it in the house. Don't worry, I will come to the house and come and do it for you.
Wow.
And then it ended
That's
the day.
it.
You understand? So there's always the place of wisdom that but you see, it will only take an extreme case for the church to take an extreme decision. That this one, if they'll even make an announcement, nobody should be there.
Wow.
But
there
that one,
are situations like that.
Yeah, there are situations like that.
Churches may
some
even-
churches, yeah.
But one of the things that we also forget is that Even when you are saying nobody should be there, that person has friends who are loyal to them.
Who are members of the church.
Who are members of the church. So no matter how we say it, we still have some people attending. But with the church, we must always have a reason of taking that decision, which would make people to also understand.
Okay.
So that it will not become another issue.
Right.
Inside the church, and then before you realize, and all these kind of things.
Churches say, they are plenty.
Both the ones the pastor knows about it, and the ones he doesn't know about.
As long as the pastor is the last to hear.
He's here, but it is his fault.
It is but he's the last to hear the gospel.
And they'll tell you that it is his fault.
You're always up there, so how do you hear? Interesting. Now, let's talk about some of the factors that the individuals, after choosing whom they want to marry, should be looking at. Some factors they should be looking at in their preparation towards the marriage.
I think that you must view it physically, you must view it spiritually,
okay,
you must view it materially,
right,
and you must even view it in terms of health.
Okay.
Right. So you are preparing towards the ceremony and then beyond. Right. So physically, I think that it's very important that getting close to a ceremony, you should make sure you are fit.
Physically fit.
Physically fit. You should be exercising, you should be eating well, you should be managing the stresses well. When it comes to preparing for weddings and marriages, you notice that the women, they get pale along the line. They are running and here, making sure the colors, and they are losing their weight because... And the men are just following their suits. Yeah. What suit am I wearing?
And they are done.
The colors, the decor, many things. The women may be interested in shades of blue, and the men are just
shades of
blue. Shades of peach, and the men are just interested in this thing looks cream. That's all.
That's it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the stress and all that, you should be able to manage the stresses very well. Eat well, exercise.
Right.
Then spiritually, it's important that you prepare, you pray towards the marriage, and you pray towards the ceremony.
Those two things. I love that you are making the distinction, the marriage and the ceremony.
Yeah. Right. Because you see, the ceremony, you may have the best wedding planner, but you still need to pray.
Right.
For God to be part
of the ceremony.
And God to lead you in making the right choices. Right. There are several stories of spiritual attacks during marriage ceremonies, sometimes through gifts, sometimes through the process. I remember one of the counseling I was doing along the line. The bride came to me and said, Pastor, we've had a revelation that one of the bridesmaids is a witch. I said, one of them is a witch. I said, okay. So who told you she's a witch? She said, some prophet. I said, and so, why are you telling me?
You didn't choose the bridesmaid for her.
So they want to get the bridesmaid out. So how do they approach? I said, the prophet who told you
should have guided you on
how to. But, it's possible it is true or it is not true.
Yeah.
But these are some of the things.
That's why you need to invest into prayer.
So you need to add fasting. You need to pick a day within the month or the week where you and the man or the man and the woman will decide that, okay, this day we are fasting and praying.
And praying towards the marriage.
You need to plan financially for the marriage. You need to, some need to sow seeds. Sow seeds to the marriage that God will provide.
Wow.
There are some people, you see, we can decide to go the hard way or we can decide to go the God-leading way. Because there are some who have sowed seeds before their marriage and pray to God, oh God, help me financially. And God has come in for them.
Wow.
Right. When I talk about my wedding, I think what I remember paying for was what I wore.
And that was it. Reverend, I'm sure there is more to add to this.
No, it's very true. The aspect of spirituality cannot be taken away from it.
Right.
At all. I had, my first marriage, I had a best man who put prayer pressure on me.
Whoa.
The guy put prayer pressure on me. When we left church Sunday, immediately we go to the room. He said before we remove our dress, we prayed in tongues for another 30 minutes.
That's it.
And normally I tell people that it formed the foundation of what the marriage became like.
Yeah.
But people don't also know that you can run your marriage like a project with a vision.
Yeah. Okay.
You go into marriage and there is no vision. You should be able to have a plan for your husband.
Very true.
Have a plan for yourself. Have a plan for your family. Have a plan for the children.
Wow.
You know, so when you have put all these things together, then you know that this thing, we are heading somewhere. Even in the midst of the plan minus God,
it's a
mere sentence on the paper.
Yeah. It's a useless plan.
It's a useless plan.
Yeah.
No, you see, marriage is always a destination. No, wedding is an event. No, and the success of your wedding is not a guarantee for success in marriage.
Of the marriage.
You know, because it's not a guarantee.
No, it's not a guarantee.
You know, I bought 2 crates of minerals.
Okay.
Yes. And I was as powerful as my resident pastor those days in the church.
Yeah.
No, because I was the one who carries. If you carry the pastor's Bible, then you are calling.
You are a powerful man.
Powerful man.
I'm a bearer.
So you can imagine the people who will come.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't sow a seed, but I went into the Word of God.
Okay.
Lord, how do we do this? Because the money was not there.
Yeah.
You know, Lord, how do we do these things? Then I heard the scripture, I think Matthew chapter 19. It said the kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king that put together a marriage ceremony for his son. Not the marriage, but the ceremony.
Yeah.
So even the cake, chips, and all those kind of things to it is in the hand of God.
Yeah.
Sure. You know, so God just gave me wisdom. I implemented it. And I realized that almost every wedding, every program, even funeral, there are some people who go and say,
no matter how much you provide.
You provide.
Yeah.
So the wisdom is, even if you like bring the whole of Coca-Cola company, somebody will still say,
they didn't get anything.
So I decided to cause the shortage by myself. And provide what I can afford. You understand?
That's a good one.
Because at the end of the day, Reggie, where do you know? Somebody almost 7 years. Almost 7 cooking Fanta. You understand? So sometimes we put unnecessary stress on ourselves. You know, that kind of thing.
God.
So in all these things that we are saying, you see, when you have a vision, it becomes a journey for you.
Okay.
That vision can be broken down. Okay, in the first 1 year of our marriage,
we want to achieve
this. Now, in the next 5 years,
right.
we want to achieve this.
Right.
Now, going forward. Now, inside that vision, you should also have a plan for sustaining your marriage.
Okay.
How your marriage will go the full length. All of them are there. That is where the God factor. You see, for the God factor there, it cannot be minus from it.
Not in anything in life, really.
Because the foundation of marriage is God.
Yeah.
It must be sustained by God.
Yeah.
And it must end with God.
God's idea.
It's God's idea.
Whoa. There's something I picked out of the narration you were giving when you talked about your best man. You know, when Reverend spoke about the bridesmaids and then you spoke about the best man, I remembered that. I remember our counselors saying, time without number, do you know the people who will be standing with you on that day? The people who will be holding your ring on that day? Severally. You know, we had to prove to them beyond reasonable doubt, convince them that these are people who meant well for us, who would pray with us, who would hold our hands and wish us well. And I think that that's just one factor that a lot of people focusing only on the event have lost sight of. The beauty of the showmanness of the whole thing. We forget about the essence of the people around us and the spirituality of it all. And I'm just glad you brought it to bear. Somebody who can hold your hands and pray with you that this marriage actually works. Let's talk about premarital counseling, which is organized by the church. Is it a necessity? Is it essential for going the long haul? You said marriage is a journey.
It's a journey.
How important is it in going the long haul, Reverend Miracle?
You know, premarital counseling, I think in a bit of years, has become something controversial, which didn't used to be controversial, because people have made arguments that some are fathers, perhaps did not have premarital counseling.
And they did better.
And perhaps stayed in their marriages longer than people who had who've had premarital counseling.
Exactly.
So there are those arguments, and some have also mentioned that at the point or at the stage of premarital counseling, people don't really listen. I remember
it becomes a formality.
One young lady told me, she said, Many see our air quansono. To be a man.
Yes, now you're on your own.
Oh my God.
Say whatever you like.
Many see our air quansono. If to be a woman quasasem. Me worry we are na masono.
A baby.
A baby.
Oh my God.
Premarital counseling. It's not essentially to end in a marriage. It's to awaken you to what you're about to do, and know whether you are ready for it and prepare you for it.
Right.
So premarital counseling, despite all these arguments people have made, I think that is essential. There's so much you could learn about each other, even through premarital counseling.
Okay.
Because there are some questions the counselor may ask. It will get you, the response you get from your partner will get you alert and wonder whether you have really asked
this question, or whether you know the person at all.
Whether you know the person or not. There's this one interesting one of a banker and I think another banker. And I asked the guy, what's his 5-year plan? What does he want to achieve in 5? He said he wants to be a carpenter. And the woman was shocked. What do you mean by you want to be a carpenter?
Yeah,
we've never discussed it here, banker.
That's an interesting one.
That kicked the discussion. And the guy was like, oh, my daddy was a carpenter. I used to work with him. I've done the maths from my salary. I've done the maths from carpentry. I've noticed that there's more money in carpentry.
So I would rather leave the bank.
I started preparing myself. I started buying machines, trying to look for a location where I can do a very good workshop and do joinery and furniture.
Wow.
So it is at counseling
that conversation was brought to bear.
Sometimes in counseling, women get to know that they're about to marry pastors.
Yes. Yes. Because they don't talk during, or even when they talk, they don't speak about relevant things.
I miss you. I miss you too.
Miss you too, yeah.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly. Don't miss us too much.
It's the Family Life Show. You're watching Bonds, the Family Life Show.
For every moment you need to be inspired.
You cannot be prayerfully alive, and Satan will get you easy.
Vision without action is an omission.
Raise your head high, for Reggie TV is here.
It's the Family Life Show. This is Bonds, the Family Life Show.
Welcome back. I'm having such a great time here. I hope you are too. We are talking about before I say I do, the church's role in all of this. And before we went on the break, we were talking to Reverend Mreku about premarital counseling, exactly. And you were making the point of how essential it is, even in the mix of all the arguments, that it may not necessarily be achieving its purpose. Reverend Akwama, I'm sure there is more you want to add to this.
When we talk about premarital counseling is basically wisdom that other people have gathered, either through practice or knowledge.
Okay.
For which reason they can share with other people.
Right.
You understand? That's when you go to Titus chapter 2. It says, let the elderly women teach the younger ladies how to love their husbands. Why? Those elderly women, we can put them in some bracket and say, the married wives who've married for long. No.
So they know.
They know. Yeah. Now, when we look at Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16, look at how you put it. It said, thus says the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see and walk and ask of the old path. Where is the good way? And walk therein, and you will find rest for your souls. Say, but they said, we will not walk therein.
We'll chat our own path.
You understand? Yeah. So what it means, the premarital counseling is an old path that some people have walked on.
Okay.
And it's also the reason why the church should also be very careful who we put there.
I was going to ask about that.
The fact that husband and wife wear the same dress and come to church does not mean their marriage is working.
The uncle is not a guarantee.
All you know is the woman who is putting pressure.
You must wear uncle.
You understand?
The women ministry members must know that my husband loves me.
But if they have a story worth following, worth emulating, and worth imparting,
right,
then we can look at that. Because it says that by the time we have all this wisdom and you build your own life on this wisdom, then you have rest.
Right.
So premarital counseling is that which you do, believing that at the end of the day to bring rest. Let's put the marital rest for the couple involved.
Wow.
So premarital counseling is very important.
That brings me to my question. When it comes to church and counseling. Like you said, sometimes it's just an old couple that were put together to counsel a new couple or a young couple yet to get married. And we are wondering, because there are skills involved in counseling.
Yes.
So even with the church, should the marriage counselors be trained counselors? Or once they've been married for 40 years, then they have the right to counsel?
They should be trained.
They should be trained?
Because how long you've been married is a skill you develop for your marriage.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you develop that skill for your marriage. Let's say your husband is Fanti and your wife is Ghana. You understand? There's always a skill to live with each other.
Okay.
Because there's a way the Ghans see their men and then the way they see their women.
Yeah.
They know that kind of thing. So now when you bring that experience to teach somebody because this is how you lived your marriage, you'll be making an error.
Okay.
And maybe the counselors before you, one is from my OT region and that person from the north.
You and the OT region.
You understand?
Yeah.
And the other person is from the north.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Okay.
No. I also tell counselors
Because that skill is not applicable.
that skill is not applicable. I even tell counselors that, you see, the best person to ask for advice from when it comes to women is not your father, but your mother. Because when you go to your father, he will describe your mother to you.
You're talking about the young men.
Yes. So the same way when you go to your mother and ask her, no, mommy, I want to learn about men. She'll just completely, by the time she finishes, you realize that
That's your father.
That's the only man she knows.
I was going to say that's the man she's in love
That's the
with.
only man she knows. So the aspect of training is very important.
Yeah,
And who is doing the training?
It's also important.
Also very important. You see, we have gone through trainings where it has become academical. And
More
we have left the
theory.
spiritual aspect of it.
Okay.
No, because do you know that I may use Ephesians chapter 5 to counsel you and it will never work. But Rev will use the same Ephesians chapter 5
And it will work.
and it will work. Why? Because the counseling that will correct your marriage is not in my mouth, it is in his mouth. So even as counselees, especially when you want to take steps to go into counseling, even when it is even the church setting, you need to believe God, Lord, the right counselor among the counselors.
Yeah, the one who can speak into
who can
this
speak
marriage.
into this marriage. Send them out.
That's a revelation.
So you don't just go, they say the church has counseling, so they choose anybody. The fact that they are Christians does not mean that they can impact your marriage well.
Right.
No,
there may be
that kind of
someone the Holy Spirit
yes.
will appoint.
Yes, there may be someone
even
so-
to counsel you.
So when you are going forward, you prepare yourself.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
you prepare yourself.
So assuming these are Christians, all right, Reverend Miracle, but then they come to you to the church and say that we are undergoing counseling from a professional counselor. Not a church counselor, but a professional. Say they go to your church, but they come to Reverend Akwama because he has the marriage factory and he's counseling them. In that case, what would the church do? What would you advise?
Okay. The truth of the matter is that it is even in the big churches where sometimes they have the structure.
Okay.
A lot of the churches, it's just the pastor and his wife. And sometimes the women's ministry leader and the men's ministry leader, who maybe they rope in. Because perhaps you don't even have the numbers to be able to break.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So if you are a church and your members are going to get married, or and has found a seasoned counselor, and they have decided to go with, ideally, maybe they should have mentioned it to you before they did. But even if they have done that, what you, the pastor, I think you should do is to dig around the counselor they are going to see, check whether he's good enough,
Okay.
and then let them go. After all that, let them come and see you and ask them questions to test what
They learned.
If there are some few things to add, you just add those things, and then you are good to go. You see, knowledge, Kwekwananse went around with a pot, claiming he had all the knowledge. Yet when I was climbing the tree, it was in Tekuma who told me, it's better for you to put the tree on your back.
That's the truth.
So wisdom is not in one head.
One head.
Yeah.
And sometimes when they go and they come and tell you something, and you the pastor or the leader or the counselor, you will learn something.
Something out of it.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
something
yes.
out of it.
And I think as a pastor, you should also
Right.
demand a report.
Okay.
When they have told you that they are here, there's nothing wrong in taking the counselor's number. These my children came and told me that
you are taking care of them.
And thank you very much. But I appreciate that when you finish whatever thing you see, can you please give them a report for me?
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I do that a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I give reports.
Okay. Reverend Mreku, you mentioned physical preparedness when you were talking about the factors to consider. And you mentioned the genotype, sickle cell, and some of those things. Let's delve a little bit more into that when it comes to the setting of premarital counseling. What would the church stand for or advise or encourage that couples do when it comes to physical readiness for marriage?
Okay. So I think that there are some things, apart from the fact that when you meet the person, you have butterflies in your stomach and you are longing for the good morning message from the person and the good night message, and then you know, sometimes there are some people when you fall in love with, they keep their smile, they excite you. Apart from all that, sometimes there are certain things we must also consider, and it comes to the physical or the health issues.
So beside the butterflies, keep your feet on the ground. Keep your feet on the ground.
Yeah, keep your feet on the ground. So the doctors have, through research, have told us certain things, which I think that the couple should be aware of before they get married. Like issues of genotype. I think it's key. There are people who have got married and their marriages have broken because when they had a child and the child was, so AS, they had a child with SS, and they're always in the hospital, and
the marriage couldn't take the strain.
Couldn't take the stress, and they had to break up, right? So at least you should be aware. So you have to do that genotype test. When you bring the genotype, personally, what I do is that when you bring it, you open it, you show it to her, you also show it to each other. Have you seen it? Okay. Then, if I know a doctor, I direct you to a doctor and I tell you, especially the ones which could bring, let's say, AC, AS, I let you see a doctor. And the doctor will sit down and tell you the implications of that. I also have another pastor friend who is AS. His wife is AS. They married by faith. And all their children, AA and AS.
No AS or SS?
No SS. Only, I think, one AS, two AA. So I'll also let you go and see him. So that I give you the options, the choice. Perhaps you could go with their faith. Perhaps you can't go with this faith. So then you take that decision. There are others like hepatitis, which you also should be aware of, because now you're going to exchange some fluids, here and there, It's important that you check that. It's also sometimes important that you also check some family history on health, some genetic pass-ons you will be dealing with or you could be dealing with, and all that. They used to check blood group matchings. So you must be aware of all these things. Then based on that, you take the decision. And then the almighty HIV too.
It's also there.
It's also there. You check. There's the couple I heard that the woman had the HIV. The man didn't have the HIV. But they decided to get married. They were in love. So that one too. Just be the church or the pastor.
The ideal thing is make them aware.
The environment for you to be aware.
A safe space to know.
Then you take the decision. Because sometimes there are people that are very interesting. The pastor says that based on the fact that the guy is HIV, you are not HIV, don't marry. The next minute, she's years on, I would have married the love of my life if it had not been for this pastor.
They would have blamed you. So open the books, let them know what it is.
Take the decision.
Let them take the decision.
And own your decisions.
And own your decision. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Family Life Show. You're watching Bonds, the Family Life Show.
For every moment you need to be inspired.
You cannot be prayerfully alive,
and Satan will get you easy.
Vision without action is an omission.
Raise your head high, for Reggie TV is here.
It's the Family Life Show. This is Bonds, the Family Life Show.
Before I say I do, the role of the church. Next week we'll be talking about courtship crisis, and you don't want to miss that either. after all said and done, once you've decided you're in courtship, preparing for marriage, you've even told the pastor they are involved and they're doing all they can, counseling and all, to help you get to that destination. If there is a crisis, how to deal with it. So you want to make a date for next week's episode so that you can enjoy that as well. But before we move on to next week's episode, let's come back to our conversation of the role of the church. There is this assumption that premarital counseling by the church is usually done by church leaders. So you have the deacons, the elders, the pastors, and their wives. Why should that be the case, Reverend Akwama?
Type or size of the church is also a major factor.
Plays a role.
Where they don't have the hands, the available people will be called upon
to do the work.
So let's say that they don't really have a marriage committee. So you see the pastor very much involved. After the pastor, we have the pastor's wife. Right. Then maybe some elder, whether he's single or whether, now there are a lot of churches who even ordain single people as elder and all those kind of things. So they bring all these people on board. Assuming that life situations would have taught them something. You understand? And marriage experience would have taught them something. So they bring all these people together. As to whether sometimes they are not even trained.
That's true.
No, and then pastor will just announce and say, "Oh, this one he has been married for 20 years. This man has been married." Every experience they have, you should be sure that they. But that is also not a guarantee, just like we said earlier on. And in some places too, the system is so well put in place, that even the pastor himself does not have a hand even in the marriage committee.
So there's a marriage committee.
Yes, there's a marriage committee. But you see, the makeup of the marriage committee is also very important.
Right.
Because in some places that I know, the marriage committee, when you come for intention, what they do is that the committee will sit, review all the forms that you filled and all those kind of things, go through the interview. Then the committee will choose a counselor for you.
Right. Okay. Looking at what we've seen and heard, we think this will be the best people.
So if it is 10 topics, that particular counselor will take you through that. One of the things, in fact, I'm coming up with a book on counseling. I call it the Counselor's Manual. It's even in the press. Now, one of the things that I said there is that counseling must end with mentorship and monitoring. So the counselor who counsels the couple must be a mentor to them.
Right.
And must also have some access to their marriage. That's monitoring.
So that they can monitor the progress.
So, yes. So whilst the marriage is going on, and depending on how the counseling went, some couples will never want to leave you. And these are some of the couples who also create problems in the church. Now, these are some of the problems. We'll call counselor, catch and say, Reverend. You know that kind of thing. Because they enjoyed it. And then, So, as a counselor, if you don't also build capacity, the counselors will expose you.
Right.
We have had people come for counseling and say, so have you done? He said, yes, we did counseling 3 months. So, he said, please, we came because we didn't learn anything. They did it in their church.
But they still
came. They said they didn't learn anything.
Wow.
I remember one time, Reverend Susie Lamte took a couple through counseling who have gone through 6 months counseling. And she said, okay, so as we are going, any topic that you have learned, let me know. No, they finished close to 22 topics and there was not one. Among the 22 topics that...
They've already learned in the 6 months.
The 22 topics that she taught them, not one.
Wow.
Maybe they were learning about Naomi and Ruth.
Not one.
And Sarah, who calls the husband my Lord.
Not one. That kind of thing. So all these things are factors.
So build capacity.
So the counselor must build capacity. And note that all the counselors are not the same. They are different.
That's it.
So the approach that you use, even your own prayer time, before they come, how do you prepare yourself?
That's it.
And all those
spiritually.
Yes, spiritual preparation and all.
Wow.
So no matter how you have been elected, make sure that
you do your part.
And remember that you are serving God and not your pastor.
And not your pastor. Wow, that's a good one. Reverend Miracle, let's talk about the formality of premarital counseling. There are so many people now who are going through premarital counseling in the church because it's become a requirement for the church to bless the marriage. not necessarily, just like the young lady's funny example you gave, once they've set their foot on the path, they are not really listening. So it's just a formality. What can the church do to make members understand the necessity of paying attention to the things that are taught, during, or meant to be taught during the premarital counseling?
The church must pray for them.
One.
And must make it conscious. The consciousness that what you are going through, please listen. There will be no exams. There will be no written exams at the end.
That's it.
But your exams will start right after the
moment
wedding.
You say I do.
The moment you join together, the moment you start your honeymoon, the exams will start. Right. So please concentrate. Please take it serious. Because if you don't take it seriously, you would go and your marriage will suffer casualties.
Right.
Right. It's true. Some people don't listen. The marriage counseling, conflict resolution. I tell them that the first conflict, when there's a conflict, ideally, the two of you should resolve it.
Yeah.
You should go to your family. That should be your last resort.
Yeah. That's not the first result.
My dear. So it's important that you try to conscientize them, get them, okay, please listen through this process. Please listen. Please take it serious.
Right.
The exams is practical.
And for life.
And for life.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think the church would have to pray for them and conscientize them. Sometimes
you mentioned on the pulpit counseling at a point, before we started the show. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So I think that when we go for weddings, right?
Okay.
Pastors preach. And when they preach, that's if they are preaching to the couple, but we pick lessons from what they are saying.
With those who are there.
Those who are there. Sometimes it is not during weddings. Sometimes when marriage troubles overwhelm us. Because you see,
you put it in your message.
You are just in the church and this person has a marital problem and this church person has a marital problem and this person has a marital problem. And you say, I wonder whether there's a spiritual attack somewhere. And the challenge with when people have marital problems that when people divorce, you either lose one member or you lose all of them.
Yeah, yes. That's true.
You are also wondering what will happen to them, what will happen to the family.
Yeah.
If a man is married to a wife and they have 4 children and they are members of their church, you have 6 members.
Yeah.
You don't want that marriage to break. Not for the sake of just
the numbers, but the family.
Family. You get me? So sometimes, pastors, Sundays, we take our time and we teach on marriage. We condition the minds of the people, even in who they choose as their spouses and all that.
Right.
So that is also part of both, that one qualifies for both premarital and postmarital.
Right. Does the duration matter? We are still on the idea of premarital. Does the duration matter? So if it's a month, 2 months, 3 months, 1 year, does it matter?
I would say yes, because doing counseling, now I use 25 topics for counseling.
Right.
You understand? And I wouldn't want to heap all this information on you.
In one lesson or 2 lessons.
That kind of thing. So depending on the kind of people we are dealing with, some people want to come sincerely. They said we want 1 month intensive.
Okay.
No, especially with the private. Some people come and say we want 1 month intensive. Now you're going to take like 4 times a week. 1 hour per session.
Okay, that's 4 hours in a week.
So 4 hours in a week. Some people will come and say we want 6 months. That 6 months, it could be once a week, every other week.
Okay.
So depending on how you do it, you see, and when counseling is interesting and knowledge packed, they are always looking for the next session.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay.
So when they see a mentor in you,
it
settles a lot of things.
Yeah.
They know that they have a home. They know that they always have somebody that they can come back to, and all those kind of things. So those ones are things that needs to be looked at very well.
So it's not so much about the duration. It's more about the content.
It's more about the content.
And depending on the couple, how much time. Because I know that there are situations where people start counseling, the counselor may ask them to hold on, do one or two things for some number of weeks, and then come back, you know, and so it's a process. And I think all of us should look at it from the angle of, I want to achieve something. So until I do achieve that, I'm not done.
Especially where there's a red flag showing face, the counselor will tell you, okay, no, go and think about this thing, you know, and pray 1 month.
Yeah.
Right? No, they don't go and pray. They will come back and tell you, no, he has changed, so let's continue. Some counselors are stubborn.
It really depends on the counselors.
Yes.
There are some counselors, as you engage them, you notice that these people are Christians. They are mature Christians.
Yes.
So living the Ephesians 5, 25 to 33 life is something they could. But there are some, it's like...
they have their own...
They are like Putusi, you know Putusi?
You mentioned the word maturity.
Yeah.
I want to hit on that before we bring all of this to a close.
Yeah.
Are there situations where a counselor, church counselor, is counseling a couple and these people are not matured enough to enter marriage, and they may recommend that they either cut a little longer before they consider marriage, or, well, once they've come and we are supposed to counsel them for, say, 3 months or 6 months per the church's policy, let's do our part and let them go.
You know, the challenge is that in a lot of cases, when they come, they have fixed the date for marriage already. And the families have been informed. So it makes it
Your hands are tied.
It makes it very difficult. There are some couples, you meet them and you are counseling them, and you ask them, have you ever been on a date before? And the answer is no. Have you ever gone out somewhere, sit down, and then talk up? The answer is no. And you're wondering, so what has been going on
all this while? The 3 years, the 4 years you said you were together.
And sometimes your accounts, at first they are trying to, I call it knowing me, knowing you. But we try to know ourselves. And sometimes you could see that the woman doesn't know the man.
And vice
the
versa.
man doesn't know the woman.
Oh.
How many children you are expecting? If God blesses you, you have. The man is talking 6, the woman is talking 3. Have you discussed it? No.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea of your incomes? I'm not saying the exact incomes, but your income range. Do you have an idea? It's a no. What food does she really like eating? It's a no. What movies do they like watching? I don't know. You're just sitting there.
Enough conversation is not taking place. You said that from the very beginning. People are not talking.
People are, and that is a challenge. So
people are talking. Maybe we are just not talking about the right things.
Anyway.
We don't know the right questions to ask, and we've not learned the skill of listening.
And sometimes I ask them this question about anger. Have you seen him angry before? So that's why he doesn't get angry. Like, really?
He's Holy Spirit.
Not even with his subordinates or his boss or anything.
Have you seen him sad before? I said, what makes him sad? Have you ever made him sad? And he's like, no, I saw me, I've been a good girl. And the guy is like, no, you made me sad before.
But you didn't know.
So yes, there are situations like that.
No, let me just add a bit. This issue of maturity also stems with when we come to a place that whatever they tell you, you think that you already know. It is difficult to receive.
You cannot fill a cup that's already full.
So
that's a sign of immaturity.
Yes.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we need to do is to bring both parents. The counselor must call for both parents. If it is the senior pastor, by the time they've made this report to the senior pastor, the way we are seeing this thing, this is what we don't think that. No, so I think that let's call their parents. So they invite the parents, blah blah, and tell them this is what we have seen. All of us will be in trouble
if we let this
this thing continue. We need to take time. So what we are suggesting is that let's lengthen the counseling period. Maybe let's take them to a 1-year counseling.
And maybe that may help.
Take them. We are not saying that they should not marry. No, but we take them to a process.
Let's give them more time to study. Well, in 1 second, your final words.
God help the church to help marriages. Amen.
Thank you so much. Amen. Reverend Akwama.
I think the Reverend has just
he has said yours for you.
He has just said it.
Thank you so much.
We just need the hand of God.
Thank you so much.
Everywhere.
Thank you so much, Reverend Akwama. Thank you, Reverend Miracle. You've been a blessing as always. We are grateful to you. Now, the church is saying they do their bits. Usually their hands may be tied. We should also be teachable. The church is called to be a place of guidance, right? Not just celebration. So it's not just a wedding venue. Preparing couples for marriage is a ministry. It's not an event. So let's rise to the call to teach, to walk alongside, and to speak truth in love before they say, I do. Thank you so much for being with us today. Keep building, keep praying, and keep walking in truth. My name is Mauto Sade. See you next week.